Iran, and why don't you fear that this will overshadow the summit?
I think it's very important that the Strait of Hormuz stays open, and we hope that the 60-day ceasefire will last and the negotiations with the Iranians and the Americans will continue.
How concerned are you about America's commitment to this alliance?
I think it's very important that the alliance stays intact. There are conversations and negotiations going on between the Danes, the Greenlanders, and the Americans about Greenland. If it's a question of security, the good news is that in NATO we have 7 countries that have Arctic know-how, including a country like Finland that has trained over 1 million soldiers in Arctic conditions. Matters of Greenland are linked and only in the hands of the Kingdom of Denmark. Sorry, can't hear you.
Should allies express their solidarity with Denmark again over these new threats?
I think we have always expressed our solidarity with Denmark, but let's not get deviated. I mean, let's just look at the big picture. If someone would have told me 4 years ago that Finland and Sweden would join NATO, if someone would have told me 3 years ago that Ukraine is on top in the war of aggression against Ukraine, if someone would have told me 2 years ago that we're going to 5% of defense expenditure, and if someone would have told me last year that we are implementing NATO 3.0 here with big burden sharing and burden moving from the United States to Europe, I would not have believed it. So in the bigger scheme of things, let's just try to weave out the daily noise of foreign policy discourse and look how the alliance is doing. I think it's stronger than ever.
Mr. President, Ukraine is currently in a need of air ballistic missiles. Was any progress made in this summit?
I think there are 2 issues that we have to look at with Ukraine right now. The first is that from a military, financial and political perspective, they're doing better than at any time during this war. And that is strongly linked to the long-range strike capacity, both in terms of drones and missiles, that Ukraine is showing, not only hitting oil refineries, but other critical energy infrastructure. The other one is then the defense side, and air defense. And I think it's extremely important that we find Patriot missiles and defense systems for Ukraine and hopefully give them licenses and IPOs to deal with it.
What is your message to your fellow NATO leaders? How to speed up support to Ukraine, and on the other hand, how to force Mr. Putin to the table?
I mean, our assessment is that Russia will not stop this war because of economic adversity. Russia will not stop this war because of the loss of Russian soldiers. But they will stop this war and start negotiating if they feel that the Russian public is turning against the war. And that's what we are seeing right now. So my message is to continue the pressure and then get to the negotiating table. I still think the best solution is to go for a ceasefire.
Recently, European allies have been considering it. You were named as one of the potential negotiators with Russia. Do you consider this role? And will this topic be discussed today at the summit?
We discuss it pretty much every day, not only with President Zelensky. I discussed it yesterday with President Erdogan. Today I'll be sitting next to President Macron. Yesterday I discussed it with President Ursula von der Leyen and President Antonio Costa. It's constantly on the table. I think we just need to get our act together right now. But what I think we're seeing right now is an escalation. And hopefully that will then lead to a de-escalation and getting especially the Russians to the negotiating table. Hopefully we'll get some results. I'm not too optimistic about getting results here today.
Trump vastaa liittoa sisältä esimerkiksi Grönlanti-asiassa. Samaan aikaan tässä olisi ikään kuin tärkeämpääkin tekemistä. Mitä Euroopan nyt pitäisi yhdessä tehdä?
Meidän kannattaa keskittyä oleelliseen, eli siihen, että rakennamme NATO 3.0, siihen, että siirrämme taakkaa Yhdysvalloilta Eurooppaan, siihen, että me kasvatamme puolustusmenoja ja puolustuskykyjä. Se, että NATO-liittolaiset ovat sitoutuneet 5% hyödyttää myös Suomea. Do you want a translation? Well, I mean, Finland and Poland have one of the largest militaries in Europe. And of course, we have a responsibility of the northeastern flank, so basically from the Baltic Sea to the Arctic. And then Poland has responsibility for the eastern flank, so we will be discussing that and many other issues.
Ja mikä oli Trumpin viesti NATO-johtajille?
I didn't speak to President Trump at dinner. Everyone happy? Good, thank you.